My like Instagram reels is so good. It's like puppy, natural disaster, like barrels, bunch of surfing, another puppy. Like, it's great. It's everything I want. Welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I am your host, Nils Mindnich, and this is the Backcountry Podcast, a show aimed towards providing insight on the outdoor industry by interviewing people who work within it. Now, on today's episode, we're going to be catching up with Kait VanHoff.
Yes, excited.
Yeah. Kait is a backcountry ambassador who snowboards, skis, and mountain bikes. She also is a yogi and a dog mom to one of the cutest German wire-haired pointers I've ever met. How you doing, Kait?
So good. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
we're
happy
to chat.
yeah, we're psyched to chat. Before we get into everything, I'd like to start out with a pretty serious question.
Oh, okay.
How's Millie doing?
Oh, she's doing so good. I was prepped. I'm like, what is this serious question going to be?
Yeah.
I am ready. Millie's doing great.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's been like loving the snow. We recently took her touring.
Yeah.
And she's obsessed.
She likes it. You kind of had to make some mods.
We did. So we had to put little booties on her because she'll get it caught between her paws, and she's trying to get it out. Mm-hmm. And we're those parents that put a coat on her and make sure she's warm,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It might be a little bougie, a little extra, but we're here for it. So, we did all that.
She's got to enjoy her time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was this kind of just a personal dog walk, or was this maybe a content trip? Because she's a budding Instagrammer as well, I believe.
Yeah, she's on the rise.
How's that going?
It's going good. It was more just a fun walk.
Okay.
I mean, she always makes an appearance,
Yeah.
She's always just being cute.
Yeah, growing that following on her personal page has maybe been a little tricky.
Yeah.
Well, I bet she has a positive outlook on that.
Yeah, a very positive.
Mm-hmm. But it is a bit of a dog world when it comes to K9 Instagram. So
it is.
Yeah.
She's slowly but surely growing.
Yeah. On that note, you are quite the content creator yourself.
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, those are your primary sources, correct?
Yep.
How did that come about? Was that premeditated and you wanted to pursue that space, or was it something that you kind of just fell into? Where did that start?
A little bit of both. So I feel years ago, Salt Lake was a home base, mm-hmm. but I was not living here. I just was traveling nonstop with my two best friends, and we were going everywhere. And so I feel it just we would take pictures and videos or whatever, and would post it, and people were interested, and we were going to places that maybe not a lot of people were going to, Vietnam, Cambodia. We hiked Everest Base Camp.
Oh wow!
And just doing anything and everything. So I feel it kind of started to catch traffic, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I was oh, well, this is fun. I can travel and do the things that I love and post about it, and maybe this could turn into something. And then a few years went by, and I was okay, I think I really want to make this happen and make this a thing. And then I just slowly started focusing on it to bring it to life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess kind of a little of both.
Totally.
It kind of happened. I mean, did happen organically, but then more curated and focused on it, a little bit into it when I was okay, I'm gonna do this. You know?
Yeah, totally, for sure. Oh man, that's really cool. And did you grow up traveling? It seems that was kind of this pretty core aspect to who you identified yourself as, and is this always something that you've kind of done, or was there a shift and transition that all of a sudden opportunities came into place that you could travel?
I mean, we traveled growing up, but not international trips all the time, mm-hmm, by any, mm-hmm, means. But my mom is a huge traveler, and so I think I got the travel bug from her. My senior year of high school, I went to India for a few weeks and went like
Crazy.
by myself with a group. And
Is that like one of the first places you went to? You go India. I would have
yeah,
gone out of high school. I maybe would have gone, Cabo, something approachable.
Yeah.
Why India?
There's this group that they would go over and do humanitarian work, a lot of like teaching English, working in schools, and I stumbled across this group and I was like, okay, well, this sounds sick. Like I want to do this. And so I just like signed up, went, and then I feel like that was kind of like the tipping point of like, oh yeah, I love this. Like this is like, it's
what was it that you liked?
I think it just was like so like out of my comfort zone and humbling to see different ways of life and how people are living in their day-to-day and like experiencing their culture and like the things that they do there. And it was just like so intriguing, and just like really loved like immersing myself in it. And so I just kind of like took off from there. And then I really do feel like it was like a lot of opportunity based though, because then I was in college for 4 years, graduated and was like traveling like in the summer and whatnot. But then after college, I moved back to Salt Lake, and one of the girls that I had known previously in high school, we were like acquaintances, but not like really friends, but like reconnected. And then one of her roommate at the time, we like all became like the 3 best friends.
Little trio travel squad.
The little trio travel, and like it just like happened that we all were just working for ourselves and like doing our own thing. Yeah. That we had like the freedom and the time to go do this, and so we literally just like set off and just like traveled for years. And now we're still like best friends, but we've definitely like toned it back in the traveling realm
that's a
little
lot.
bit.
How long did it go on for? You're saying years?
For a few years. We just like, we would like come home, make enough money to go travel again, and then go travel till we were broke, and then would come back home, make money again, go travel till we broke. And it just like
kind of chasing the dragon.
Just kind of like chase it and like exactly, just like just going for it. And since then, like I had said, kind of like have toned it back in that regards a little bit, and have been focusing more on my business. And my business does involve like a lot of traveling still, so I do still travel a bunch, but definitely not like I guess it was.
Not in the 3-pack
not in
era.
the 3-pack era.
Oh man, that's wild. And then so you're kind of like, you're going to all these new places, you're like kind of covering your pursuits through Instagram, I'd imagine, at the time, and you said it kind of just sort of like gained traction. What were kind of some of those earlier opportunities or experiences you had where you maybe were exposed to the aspect of being like, oh, this is like a line of work, I can actually pursue this and make money? I feel like it just started out with like brands would be reaching out, mainly just like wanting trade. I was like, oh, okay, like I guess like this is a thing people do, this was like back when. I'm like, okay, like sweet, like I'll take some free stuff, like at the time I was just like so new to it. I just like kept going on like that, and then I feel like got to the point where I was like, okay, like my following has been growing, and it's like at the point where I now like this is taking like quite a bit of my time. Like I need to charge for my time now. So I just kind of like shifted, and I was like, okay, if like I'm gonna do this for real and like have this like be a job, then I like got to start like charging. And so it just like started out small and then kept growing. That's pretty cool.
It's kind of wild. I feel like how sometimes like the wild west out there.
Totally. I mean, well, like
that's
a good way to put it, right? Wild west, because it's kind of been this ambiguous, continuously in flux space. Do you reflect on when you first started and you're like, man, it was so simple back then?
Yes.
Okay. And then like
you're like, please tell me I'm not alone.
Like, right? Like I think so. Okay. So anyways, but like, to add on to that, there's something to be said for staying relevant and still being able to continue to grow with like the added layers of, there's TikTok now and there's Instagram, and even Instagram is their platforms are always changing. What's
Yeah.
what's your take on that?
I feel like there's something to be said about like staying authentic and like true to yourself, because I think that you can easily get lost in like comparison or like I don't know, like, or how much did they get for the job, or I don't know, there's just like so many different things that like can play a part in it, that like really just like staying true to you and be like, okay, like this is like the route that like I want to go, and like also like taking that over to TikTok like you were saying, and like and not just like falling into trends, I guess, but just staying like relevant in your space and like what you're good at and what you know.
Yeah.
I feel like has been huge in like growing and like I don't know, just staying true.
Has that like, I'm curious about this. Has that always been easy, or was there a time when you're like, okay, I need to like stop bandwagoning or something like that, and kind of like stay in my lane? Is that something that like intuitively had it always been that way for you, or was there maybe like a turning point that you had to like sort of hone it back in and redefine?
There are times when it'll be hard. I'm like, okay, I need to like hone it back in, come back to like, what am I doing? Stay in my lane, don't compare. But for the most part, I try to like, even if it's like a conscious effort of just like, okay, I'm just gonna like do my thing. Yeah. And like the people that like want to be here and follow and support are going to, and the people that don't, then like that's fine. Just don't like resonate with them, you know. Yeah. So kind of a little bit of both, I guess, but always I'm trying to bring it back to center. Yeah, right.
I'm sure it can like be tricky to stay true.
Yeah.
And like have that North Star that you try to route towards. Has it been hard to essentially make that transition from, okay, I'm posting all of this traveling for fun. I'm having a blast with my, we're the Three Musketeers, we're rallying around, I'm taking photos and life's good.
Yeah.
And then does it still feel that way? Or is there almost like maybe a boundary that you set up where you're like, this is business, and like, not everything will go onto Instagram, for example. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the apps are structured in a way that you are kind of sharing this unfiltered, raw aspect of your life, right? And you get like direct engagement with someone. It's really cool.
Totally.
But on another hand, I would be very impressed if like there wasn't a boundary set there where you're like, this is just my entire life. It's going to be on Instagram, For
sure. Yeah. Like you still want to be able to have those like personal, intimate moments in your life, whether it's like just for yourself, with your partner, like whatever. So yeah, like
Millie's pause, for example.
Millie's pause, just like keeping that between like us. Consciously like staying true to me. I also feel like there's times where I consciously have to be like, okay, like I'm done with work. I'm going to like put my phone away or whatever, and like just really like be present and like be here, because with my line of work and like being that I am posting such personal things, I feel like they can intertwine really easily. Finding that balance
does it get
like
tiring sometimes? Or does it feel pretty natural to be like,
it feels natural.
Phone time's over?
I feel like it feels pretty natural. I think it's taken some time for me to find that balance. Like there would be years where I feel like I would just like work myself to the bone. I would work all through the night, whatever, and like wake up early and like keep going, and just like I couldn't find that balance because all I wanted to do was work, which sounds horrible, but like
but it's also, you're like,
but it's also I like love what I do, and like I am like so passionate about it, but I do feel like I'm in a good space now where I have that balance of both.
Let's talk about the new kid on the block for a little bit.
Okay.
TikTok.
Okay.
You're on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok.
You're doing it.
I'm doing it.
Give me a quick rundown how that's been. I want to get into like maybe learning curves, pitfalls, pros and cons, because a lot of people maybe blend the two, but I'm sure from someone that's looking at it from, it's your line of work to understand it and excel at it.
Yeah.
How has that been, kind of this new space?
Yeah, it's been an interesting learning curve, but I like personally I really like it because I feel like it's, I don't know if less curated is the word, because I still feel like it's very curated, but it's very just raw and organic, which has been refreshing for me. That like,
oh, how so?
I don't want to say like I think about it less, but like kind of, where I'm just like, cool, I'm just gonna like hop on here and like whatever I'm like doing that day, it just feels more raw to me. Some of the stuff that I post to Instagram and to TikTok does like intertwine, but some of it doesn't. Like some of the stuff that I post on, probably maybe like 50-50. Some of the stuff that I post on TikTok is like just for TikTok because I feel like it's just a different space for me.
Yeah. How do you kind of like adjust your sort of your focal point between the two? What's the difference look like? Like, what would you focus on TikTok versus what would you focus on putting out on Instagram?
Like, I'm still focusing on similar, like, outdoors, skiing, mountain biking, travel, like, still focusing on those things. But the way that I am bringing it across might be, like, a little bit different. For example, like, all right, like, sit down with me. I'm going to, like, put my skins on my skis. Like, let's chat, you know, whatever. Whereas I don't know if I might do that on like my Instagram story, but I wouldn't necessarily like post that as a reel, if that makes sense. I don't know. They just feel a little different for me.
Yeah.
But
cool.
So it's been a good learning curve.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to learn.
It's good to learn. Yeah. So yeah, it's been nice.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome. Well, you know, I kind of sort of you touched on that like, you know, it's still this like ski outdoor style and like approach that you're putting into everything. And I kind of want to like unpackage a little bit more of your athletic approach to life, because it seems like, you know, you've done a lot of traveling, right? And like you've found success with content creation, but there's also, it just seems as if it's a large part of who you are naturally to be into things like, you know, snowboarding and mountain biking and skiing. Yeah. And did it find its way naturally, or was it like a little bit of a difficult transition?
I feel like it's pretty organic. I played collegiate volleyball after I graduated. It almost was like a identity crisis, honestly, because like that's all I ever knew.
Great sports for that.
Yeah.
Great sports for that. I can find a couple other people that might identify with you.
Yeah. Or I'm like, okay, like I was just like known as the volleyball girl.
And so you hadn't like skied or like high school, middle school, you know, as a kid?
As a kid, so I grew up skiing until I was like 10.
Okay.
And then I snowboarded, but never like, I wasn't like racing or like, it was just like for fun.
I mean, volleyball, that's like got to be a big time commitment.
Yeah, it was just like big time commitment. Like, that was my job for the time being, which I loved. It was great. I mean, like so many opportunities. But then, after college, it was like, okay, like, shit, like now what? Like I'm done. Literally, like it took up like all my time. You know, like we would wake up early, like go to weights. It was almost like a rediscovering of myself, because I didn't want to keep playing after college. I mean, for fun, but like I didn't want to like play professionally or anything. It just was like, I think it like served its time and purpose, and it was great, and I'm like ready to move on, and I don't want to be like known as the volleyball girl anymore. And I took my yoga teacher training the last semester, so I like graduated college the same time that I graduated with my yoga teacher training. And like through my yoga teacher training was when I was like, wow, I like really like love this and want to be able to like share this with people, and like really fell in love with like health and wellness, and like so I think it like stemmed from volleyball, and then like going through the training, I just was like, wow, I'm like super passionate about this. I went back to like snowboarding again, like because I had grown up and just like went back to, I hadn't mountain biked. I did mountain bike growing up, picked up mountain biking after college. And so like all of these just like stayed athletic, but like in new forms that kind of like stemmed from that, I guess, but then just wanted to recreate. Yeah.
Just kind of keep searching, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, what I could imagine, I might be able to imagine what the answer is, but I'm curious what like pursuing activities such as snowboarding and mountain biking, specifically, unlike, you know, it's not like you got into basketball next, right? Like what kind of pushed you in that direction? Because there is sort of that's like a pretty significant transition to make.
Totally.
You know, you're going from, let's just say, like stadium sports to outdoor sports, which is a whole new world.
I grew up, like, I've always loved nature and like loved being in the outdoors, and I just have like always like really connected with it. And even like when traveling, I'm like always the one that like wants to go on the hike or like wants to go swim in the ocean or whatever. Like I just always want to be outside. Like I'm not
active.
I want to be active. Like I'm not really a museum girl. I'm not, like that just isn't me. And so I think that I kind of just like gravitated like towards that after when I was like, okay, I want to spend more time outside. And before I got into mountain biking, I would just like hike.
Yeah. Totally.
Not just. I would hike.
It's the gateway drug to outdoor sports.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, like I need like a little bit more intensity than hiking, and so I found mountain biking, and I just like fell in love with it.
That's
and
cool.
So just have been like mountain biking and snowboarding, and then even last year I decided to pick up skiing again, which has been very humbling.
Yes, you don't say.
Yeah.
How so? How so?
I think like as adults and like humans that we just like kind of get stuck in our ways when we get older because we're comfortable, which like, nothing wrong with that. But like we just are like, okay, like this is what we do day in, day out. This is what I'm going to like stick to. I just kind of want to like shake it up. I don't know. I wanted to like suck at something and learn and like grow and fall and get back up and like get frustrated and be humbled. I don't know, all the things. I just was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna like ski. And so it's been good. It's been
yeah. Why do you has that kind of like always been something that you've like had in your life? Like is there always something new, right? Because we're chatting and I'm kind of like, pursued volleyball, like kind of figured it out, moved on, like okay, let's like dive into traveling, kind of figuring it out. Oh, it can be work, let's like grow that space. It seems like you enjoy the process of learning, and has that kind of like always been an avenue that you like are aware of, or like...
I was gonna say I don't even know if I was actually aware of this, so this is like this is news to me, but I definitely love the process.
And let's get into the psychology behind that. Like, what is it with maybe sucking and then getting proficient at something that entices you? It's
totally the progress of it, because like specifically for like with mountain biking, for example, I've only been mountain biking for 3-4 years now. I think it's like actually physically seeing the progress. Like I'll go on a trail and not be able to hit something, and then like maybe the next season that's like a walk in the park, and like in my head I'm like, how is that ever like hard? But like it obviously it was, and I like grew and now can like progress into these other things. So I think it's just as like the progression of it is just really intriguing to me, and being able to like see that progression, because I think it's not only like physical but also mental. I bet is like huge. And so like you said, I don't even think I was aware of it, but that's definitely an avenue that I like. I like the progression.
I mean, it's probably like pretty confidence building too, I would imagine.
Definitely. That kind of
segues us to something I want to chat about for a bit, which is let's get into yoga.
Okay.
When were you first introduced to yoga?
Okay, this is literally how it went. Okay, so I majored in graphic design, and like the semester before I was graduating, I was on a hike with my brother, and I was like just telling him about this. I'm like, I'm like I like graphic design, but like it's not what keeps me up at night. Like I don't want to like sit behind a computer all day. Like I just don't know if it's like really my thing, And I'm like, I really like health and wellness, and like I wish maybe I like would have gone into nutrition. So anyways, we're like talking through all this, and he was like, well, what if you like got trained in something like yoga, or like became a personal trainer, or like something, because like you can totally do that. And I'm like, oh, interesting. I'm like, okay, well like maybe I'll like think about that. A week goes by, and at the time I was like filming these workout videos for this company, iFit. Okay. And
This is while you're in college?
This is while I was in college, after volleyball season. It was like my semester of like, okay, season's over. Like usually you have a semester to graduate, you know? So I'm like, cool, I'm taking like climbing classes. I'm taking So anyways, I'm like working at this company, and afterwards they're like, hey, like there's a yoga class going on, and the space is similar to like this.
Okay.
If anyone wants to stay and take it. And I'm like, cool, I will. I've like taken yoga maybe like one other time in my life at the time. So I stay for this class afterwards. The teacher's like, so we're doing a training up here starting like in this next week. If anyone's like interested and can come chat with me after. And I'm like, of course you are. So I go and chat with her after, and I'm like, great. So I think I'm going to sign up. And she's like, okay. I went to college at Utah State. Yep. Which is in Logan, so it's kind of a small town. So for them to like be doing a training up there, it was like, whoa, like kind of random. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, cool. So I take this training, and like halfway through, I'm like, wow, I like really love this. Like it honestly was like life transforming for me, and like I had a lot of like breakthroughs during it, and that I was like, I like want to be able to like share this with other people. So I like talked to my mentor at the time, like the trainer, and was like, hey, like I think it'd be really cool to like pursue something in this, but like I travel so much, like opening a studio or something like that is just like out of the question. I don't want to like stay put. And she's like, well, what if you like did retreats, and that way you can like travel and teach yoga, like two things you love. So then easy as that. Yeah, simple. Is that what you transitioned straight into? And then literally, so then later that year, I hosted my first retreat. No way! Oh my god. Yeah, there's a trend here. I kind of just there like go like all kind of seeing a pattern. I don't know. Okay. I'm like, all right, here we go. So yeah, I hosted. So that was in 2015. Okay. Hosted my first retreat. That December, and then after that I was like, yeah, I like love this. I want to like keep doing this. So then I just kind of like ran with it and just started hosting retreats of like places that I had like been to and like were really familiar with, so I could just like I knew my way around and could host them. Did some like local ones, and now I thankfully have a team, like a company behind it now, where I can go to more places, because before I'd have to like go scout, do all
one gal show.
I was literally wearing every hat that you can imagine, which I'm like, listen, I can wear all the hats, but like I don't want to wear all the hats. You know, balancing DJ and like mental health coach, it's a lot. It's a lot. So like I said, have a company that like does the back end work, which is really nice, and then that way I can just like show up and do what I'm good at and teach the classes and teach the meditations and just guide and be there for people instead of I don't know, I wanted to be able to like show up and hold space. I feel like that's like hold space for people that are coming on these retreats. Like it's an investment of their time and money, and I don't want to have to like be worried about transportation and the logistics of things. Yeah, totally. So,
and did you partner with a company, or did you start a company and hire people to then build out the back end?
It's a separate company that does the logistics.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, so but the face of all of it is Revitalize.
Brand.
Yeah.
Dang, that's really cool. And then you started that in 2015.
2015.
Cool.
Yeah, so lots of ebbs and flows and growing, and as like with all businesses, and now I feel like it's in a really good place of like what I want Revitalize to be, you know, and what I want it to embody. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool for a number of reasons, but the yoga aspect especially, right? Because historically, like, there's more to it than maybe a traditional Western understanding of like it's a physical series of movements. You know, there's numerous. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like numerous styles of yoga, and a lot of them are just like actual like mental practices that you like incorporate into your day-to-day life. And was it kind of during your early introduction to practicing yoga and then teaching yoga that was like a huge like light bulb went off for you? Or
a lot of it is like finding like your voice and what resonates like how you portray a class and like teach it and how you show up and how you hold that space or whatever is going to be so much different than like the next teacher, then the next teacher, then the next, like there's just such a different vibe with each like teacher and how they teach and what they teach. And
totally.
And so that was something that like, it was good for me to be like, okay, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to show up as some like perfect yoga teacher that like is never going to mess up and blah, whatever. It's like, but like in my head when I first started teaching, it was almost like, okay, I need to like be this perfect
bar's
yoga.
Gotta be set high.
The bar's gotta be set high, you know? And then like, and then as time went on and I just like dropped that barrier, I'm like, no, like that isn't realistic. Like that's not who I am. That's not how I want to show up for the people that come to my classes. It was like, I feel like similar to like even like the Instagram and TikTok thing that we were talking about, like staying in your lane and like showing up as you and like authentically. The people that like want to come to your class and that gravitate towards you are going to come, you know? And so that's always been like a reminder of mine of like, just like stay true and like, the people that want to be around you will be around you. Yeah.
I mean, I could imagine compared to a sport like volleyball, you know, where if I had to guess, it sounds intense. Personally, when I've done yoga, it's not that intense. And there's just like, you know, how was it sort of tapping into that, almost like that mental space where you're like, oh, this is like, there's going to be ebbs and flows. And that's like, that is a huge part of the process. You know? I mean, that must've been like a big catalyst to pursue it.
Yeah, totally. Because it is definitely like, I feel like they're literally like opposites of each other because like with volleyball, that is such a competitive sport and yoga is anything but competitive. You know, like you're showing up for you on your mat and like feeling what feels good in your body that like maybe I like personally needed that like more than I thought, you know, and
traveling could act as like a catalyst too, right? To like explore your space as an individual.
Explore your space and like, I don't know.
Let's touch on that too. Like, cause I feel like it seems like you have a pretty valued opinion on traveling and yoga and spending time outside and, you know, creating space for yourself.
Totally.
Can you kind of touch on to like why that feels important to you? And then I think it could be cool to like transition into how has that been to try provide that experience for others?
I'm very, very passionate about this, about like, taking the time for you and like showing up for yourself and like doing what you need to do, because I just am a huge believer in like, if you don't do what you need to do for yourself and like show up for yourself, then you're not going to be able to show up for others. And so like, unless you carve out that time in the day or the week or year, whatever it is, to like do the things that like really set your soul on fire, then like you're always going to be trying to pour from like an empty cup, which just isn't ever gonna happen. I want to be able to like do the things I love and do the things that like really make me happy. And I want to be able to provide that space and like inspiration for others to like do the same and like know that it's okay to like not always be on the grind, that you can like take the time to go to a yoga class or take the time to just like sit and breathe or take the time, whatever it is, take the trip, take whatever. I think that's also a big thing like with Revitalize is that I want to be able to like, that's the offering that I want to, or that's what I want to offer is that people can come as they are and all different walks of life and all over the country that like come on this retreat, come to this space just as they are, and they can just show up and whatever they need for that week or 10 days, it can be that for them, you know, and they can just like take the time.
I like that. I like what you're saying because, you know, it's cool to see sort of that evolution, right? Of like, okay, I'll like learn this thing and then like see how far I can take it or pursue it. And what I think sort of interesting and would be neat to get your perspective on as well is like you're sharing so much on social media through TikTok and Instagram over the years, all your travels, all these like fulfilling things. And I'm sure it's got to be fulfilling to get a response from that, right? From all the followers and like the input. How is that compared to maybe or how is that compared to an in-person experience?
Oh, it's brought me to tears before. Yeah. Like people come up and it's like, wow, like that was like exactly what I needed, or like what you said was what I needed, and that goes back to, as well as like me reminding myself, like I just need to show up as, same for me, like as I am in that day, because like who knows, like whatever like I'm going through, whatever's in my head, or whatever like I want to like speak about in class, like might resonate with 1, might resonate with 10, like I don't know, but like hopefully it made a difference for like one person, you know. And like I do like really appreciate like if people come up after class and are just like I like really needed that, I'm like, me too, like I'm glad that, you know, I'm like
yes, I mean that's
like,
so powerful, right? Because you have like you have what, like 80,000 people as your audience on Instagram, and then you have an audience of 10 people, and you're like, if one person can just say they love it, that's so powerful.
Yeah,
you know, like, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I feel like the in person definitely it's really special. It's a very like magical space to be in, for sure. And especially when you're like, especially on the retreats, I feel like, because a lot of people come by themselves. So they don't know anyone. They're in a foreign country most of the time.
Yeah, let's get into the retreats. I'm like so curious because I've seen yoga retreats, but like, give me the what's like the breakdown. Where are they? How many people? Like, what's the lowdown? Yeah,
so they're all over. Which is really cool, because I think at least that because a lot of people want to either one travel and they like don't really know who to travel with, or they don't have someone to travel with, but they're obviously like wellness oriented, minded, conscious, that they would like sign up for a travel and yoga retreat or adventure and yoga retreat. I'll get like some people that it's their first yoga class. And but they're like, I want to be with like these like-minded people in this like foreign country and like and in this space, you know, and then I'll get people that have been like practicing all the time. So it's cool to be able to like bring people from all different walks of life together that don't know each other, they're strangers, and then they're in this vulnerable state of like, we're just out here flowing together and like traveling, you know, and
bugs on a rock floating through space, as Matthew McConaughey once said.
Exactly. It's really special. It's not
it's powerful. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool to be in person.
Yeah. You ever thought about just doing it in like just a suffer place, like
like
desert, just like hard desert, like you are gonna be in such a mental trance. Like I like the beach theme. That sounds nice.
Yes, the beach is nice, more relaxing.
Everest Base Camp.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? I don't know if I could lead a retreat. That was quite the experience. Yeah.
Namaste.
Yeah, exactly.
What's like your favorite place you've done one so far?
Oh man. Honestly, I really love Bali. I've like hosted a couple there, and then I've also just like gone by myself there, gone with friends there. Like I just keep gravitating back towards Bali, and so that's why this year I was like, I think it's time for another Bali one, because obviously couldn't for the past couple years with COVID. So yeah, I'm very excited to go back.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. And do you like, are they primarily yoga focused, or have you guys kind of mixed in like surf, yoga? Yeah,
so
zip lining, dirt biking, you know.
All the activities. Yeah, the Bali one is actually surf and yoga.
No way.
Specific.
Cool.
Yeah, depending on where we're at, we'll like do different activities like Costa Rica, zip lining, or like Morocco, like staying in the Sahara. You know, like these like things that people want to do when they go to the place.
Totally.
Try to weave those in. But then it's still like yoga and meditation every day. Yeah. And obviously, like, if they want to participate, awesome. Like, it's their retreat.
And if they don't, they still have to.
If they don't, they better be out there.
kind of a volleyball. That's where the volleyball approach comes full circle.
Yeah. My competitiveness comes back.
I'm joking. Oh man. Well, I mean, you're going to all these places. You're putting together yoga retreats, and what's like the dream? What's your dream like yoga retreat location then? Where do you want to go? And would that also be the place that you just want to actually go on like a vacation to as well?
Yes. My dream location right now is Portugal.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
I went to just like not a work trip, just fun with friends. I went there for the first time this last year, and I just like, you know, when you like, I don't know if you've ever had this feeling where you like step like off the plane to somewhere and you're like, okay, whoa, this place like feels different. Like this place, like there's like magic in the air is like what it like felt like to me.
I feel that when the humidity hits me every time I step off the plane in Vermont to visit family. So yes, I know exactly what you're saying.
Exactly what you're saying. But yeah.
Well, what was it? Yeah.
Yeah. So when I got off the plane to Portugal, I just was like, I know I'm going to love this place. And I did. I loved like every second of my trip. And I texted my partner, Chris, like while I was there, I'm like, I want to move here. Like,
naturally. Yes, naturally.
Because that's just how I flow. But no, yeah, I was like, I like really love this, and my dream would be I want to like host a retreat here. So hopefully, maybe this year, maybe next year.
Yeah.
Who
knows?
Yeah, that's in top of the list, in the works.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool that you've kind of spent so much time, you know, in your earlier years developing this like digital experience for everyone, and then now kind of making that transition into the in-person experiences.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
exciting.
Yeah.
See where it's going, I bet.
Yeah, it's cool to like see like both sides, or even like a lot of the time too, like 'cause a lot of my marketing for retreats is through Instagram, and so I'll usually connect with them before like digitally, and then I'm like, oh my god, like it's so good to like meet you face to face, like once we're on the retreat, you know. It's like,
you're like, holy shit, we're doing it.
Yeah, like we're here, we're doing it. It's like it's such a cool feeling.
So I mean, aside from the yoga retreats, what else is on the radar?
Last year with like my personal brand, not necessarily like Revitalize, I just with like teaching workouts and yoga and stuff, I released a mountain bike training cool. Like online, and so anyways, then fast forward, I am like currently building out Revitalize to have retreats, but then also an online studio, so that we'll have like workouts, yoga classes, meditations, so that like the people that maybe can't or don't want to invest in like a full-on retreat can like have, I guess, a little piece of Revitalize just like at their home, and do the workout or meditate or whatever it is. And for the people that have like been on their retreats, I've like gotten asked afterwards, like, hey, like instead of like taking some like random person's meditation, like I would love to like listen to yours, you know. And
totally.
I'm like, oh yeah, like
kind of build out that personal connection a bit more.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In maybe a more accessible way.
Totally. I want like maybe a little bit more, like approachable offering that like if people don't have the time or funds or whatever it is to like, okay, I'm sending it on a retreat, like they can just like open up their computer and take a class. And so that's what's on the horizon. That's currently in the works and being built out, which I'm like so excited about, to be able to like expand in that way and like kind of bring both of my worlds into one kind of.
Yeah, continue to like grow them together.
Yeah, right? So
cool. Well, I mean,
that's on the radar.
That's exciting. That's super. That's a big thing to have on the radar. That's really exciting. We're excited to see all of that grow.
Yeah, so stoked.
Now, before we sort of wrap this up, I would like to derail for a split second.
Okay.
Throw you a quick curveball question. Would you rather Millie be twice as big or twice as small?
Ooh, twice as big.
Really?
Yeah, because her
Why?
breed. Well, okay. Twice as small, she would be tiny.
She'd be a little munchkin.
She would be like the littlest munchkin, which, like, don't get me wrong, would be so freaking cute.
It'd be like a Yorkie.
Yeah, it would be like Yorkie size. And I'm like, I just don't know if that would like fit our like lifestyle. Because like Millie like bikes with us, skis with us, camps with us. Like she is an adventure gal.
Also an athlete.
Very
athletic dog.
Yeah, and so I think if she was like, yeah, she'd be too small for the things, for the activities, you know?
Mm-hmm. Sweet. Well, it's been awesome catching up with you. It's been cool to hear a little bit more about your story. I'm super excited about Revitalize and the journey that will turn into.
Thank you.
And as we come to a close on this, is there anyone you would like to thank?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I'd love to thank Backcountry. I mean, you guys have been like my biggest supporter of all of my endeavors for years. So yeah, huge thanks to Backcountry.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you. It was great having you on. And also thank you to everyone who tuned in. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you want to check out more episodes, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date and in the know. And in the meantime, I'm Nils Mindnich. We'll see you out there.